You're listening to the micro version of the Savage Lovecast, www.savagelovecast.com.
If you're stuck in a relationship quandary, or if you're looking for sexual harmony, well, there's nothing you can't ask on the Savage Lovecast.
This is a story about two men. A man who can't even, as the kids say, and a man who apparently can't take no for an answer. At least not a no from the man who can't even. The man who can't even, Adam Rippon. Now, in fairness to Rippon, he can. The dude can figure skate and he can win championships. He's the 2016 U.S. national champion, and he won the 2008 and 2009 World Junior Championships and a bunch of other big figure skating championships. Rippon is competing at the Winter Olympics for the United States and South Korea. He's also hotter than hell, and he can and does post a lot of shirtless selfies to his Instagram account, Instagram.com/ADARIPP. You can and you should follow him. The man who can't take no for an answer, Mike Pence, former governor of Indiana, formerly a member of Congress, currently the vice president of the United States. Pence is a religious conservative / religious bigot who has used his power to harm gay people whenever and wherever an opportunity to do harm has presented itself. Pence voted against the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell when he was a member of Congress. He opposed marriage equality, gay people adopting children, opposed that too. He's voted against laws to protect LGBT people from discrimination. He signed a bill into law when he was governor of Indiana that would allow people to discriminate against gays and lesbians so long as they remembered to scream sincerely held religious beliefs and not, "I hate you fucking queers," when doing so. And he famously, perhaps most famously, demanded that HIV/AIDS education funds be spent on conversion therapy programs instead. Not for nothing did Donald Trump, quote unquote, joke that Mike Pence wants to hang all gay people. So, Adam Rippon, who again is competing for the United States at the Winter Olympics, which are just getting underway in Pyeongchang, South Korea, and good luck to you, Adam. Adam, in addition to being a champion figure skater, is the first openly gay man ever selected to compete for the United States at the Winter Olympics. Guess who else is going to the Olympics? Mike Pence. He heads the official U.S. delegation to the Winter Olympics, and traditionally, U.S. athletes, all of them, meet with the head of the U.S. delegation. But Rippon, he's not interested in meeting Mike Pence because he's offended at Mike Pence's support for conversion therapy. Rippon is offended that Mike Pence doesn't think Rippon, as a gay man, should exist. He said this to USA Today during an interview, in which he also said he's not interested in meeting not just Pence, but anyone who's gone out of their way to not only show that they aren't a friend to gay people, Rippon said, but who think gay people are sick. Now, Mike Pence made the mistake of denying that he ever supported conversion therapy, and Rippon took to Twitter, where he posted the receipts, as you kids like to say. Links and screen grabs to Pence's old campaign website, where, yes, Mike Pence came out in support of defunding HIV/AIDS education and prevention programs that actually work and save gay people's lives, and demanded the money instead be spent on gay conversion therapy programs that do not work, unless you count pushing vulnerable young people to suicide as working, which Mike, hang the gays, Pence probably does. You'd think Pence would have learned his lesson, taken Rippon's no for an answer, and left the 28-year-old figure skater alone. But Mike Pence asked the U.S. Olympic Committee to set up a private meeting between him and Rippon in South Korea, which Rippon rejected. Because he can't. He won't even meet privately with the Vice President of the United States. So Mike Pence, a bigot spurned, took to Twitter himself and tweeted directly to Rippon, @AdaRip, I want you to know we are for you. Don't let fake news distract you. I am proud of you. Mike Pence is for Adam Rippon. Unless Adam Rippon wants to serve in the military, get married, have children, learn how to protect himself from HIV, not face discrimination at the hands of religious bigots on the basis of sexual orientation, or be gay at all. Other than that, Mike Pence is totally for Adam Rippon. It's kind of pathetic. I mean, Rippon isn't the first athlete who's refused to meet with Mike Pence and or Donald Trump. Super Bowl champions, World Series champions, NBA champions, they've all refused to go to the White House and make nice with these bigots. Rippon isn't the first, but somehow, oddly, Mike Pence just can't stand the thought of this hot and often shirtless young gay male figure skater refusing to be alone with him in a room makes you go, You know, Mike Pence, like a lot of anti-gay bigots, doesn't want people out there who aren't anti-gay bigots to think he's an anti-gay bigot. And he probably, like a lot of them, likes to think that he has gay friends. Maybe he thinks the guy who did his daughter's hair at her wedding is a gay friend of his. A lot of powerful anti-gay politicians want to live in a world where they can be viciously shitty to gay people, and gay people will play nice with them in return or feel obligated to smile for a photo in order to show respect for whatever office the bigot happens to hold. And then the anti-gay bigots turn around and point to those photographs to prove that they're not anti-gay bigots. Hey, don't look at the policies I've backed or the attacks I've waged on gay people. Look at this picture of me and a known homosexual smiling at each other. Look, here's a picture of me shaking hands with a gay person. And you know what gay people do with their hands? They touch themselves down there. Sometimes they touch other homosexuals down there. Sometimes they put their entire hands inside other homosexuals. And I touched it. How could I be a bigot? That's the game Pence wanted to play, but Rippon won't even play along. And for that, I got to say, Adam Rippon, you are the Olympic hero the gay community has been waiting for. The gay athlete, ready, willing, and able to take a stand, to stand up for himself and all of us during the games, not after. The 1968 Summer Olympics in Mexico City, gold medalist Tommy Smith and bronze medalist John Carlos, during the awards ceremony, raised their fists in the Black Power salute. It was a galvanizing moment at the height of the African American movement for civil rights. I have been waiting all my adult gay life for a gay Olympian to take a stand at the Olympics. And Adam Rippon, you took a stand at and before the Olympics. And for that, we are all so grateful and so proud of you. And we're all rooting for you. And everyone out there who can hear the sound of my voice, y'all should be following him on Instagram. Take my word for it. All right, coming up on today's show, on the micro edition of the Savage Lovecast, tons of your Q's, lots of my A, and on the Magnum subscription edition of the Savage Lovecast that you can subscribe to at savagelovecast.com, twice as long and no ads, Justin Lehmiller of Ball State University and the Kinsey Institute joins us for a What You Got to talk about the results of his brand new cuckolding study. All that coming up on today's show. MeUndies makes feel-good underpants your butt will be proud to wear and you will be proud to be seen in. They will be the most comfortable pair of underwear you will ever own, and to check it out yourself, go to MeUndies.com/savage. This episode of the Savage Lovecast is brought to you by AdamandEve.com. Get 50% off one item and free shipping when you enter the offer code SAVAGE at checkout. This episode of the Savage Lovecast is brought to you by Everlane, luxury basic clothing and accessories made at ethical factories without those retail markups. For free shipping and to support the Lovecast, go to everlane.com/savage.
Hi, Dan. I was driving around today and I was thinking about something about our president. I'm one of those cultural Catholics, and I'm starting to notice that a lot of these evangelical priests are really comfortable with the idea of our president being very flawed. They're starting to forgive him. They're starting to talk about the fact that he was a different person, younger in 2006 and 2005 when he was having these affairs. Is it possible that this guy may actually push our efforts to make Christians and Catholics more flexible? Is that possible? Because holy shit, if we can get any benefit off this guy, God, that would be great.
You've heard the expression, or perhaps the acronym for the expression, IOKIYAR. Sometimes you see that on blogs and bulletin boards, and sometimes you see that on Twitter. Sometimes I tweet that out. IOKIYAR. It's okay if you're a Republican. There are things that Republicans don't mind if other Republicans do. Think of Donald Trump. Think of all the shit that he's pulled in his first year in office. Think of all of the profiteering, the collusion, the violations of the emolument clause, to say nothing of the whole Russia affair, obstruction of justice, all the firings at the FBI. If Clinton had won the White House and farted at a state dinner, she would have been impeached for that. But Trump is not getting any grief from the Republican Party for any of this shit, because the Republican Party, the deeply hypocritical pile of assholes, who have a long-ass list of double fucking standards. You've got evangelical leaders like Tony Perkins out there right now saying, oh, Donald Trump paid a porn star $130,000 in the waning days of the 2016 election to keep her mouth shut about the affair they had when his latest kid, born to his third wife, was born and his wife was home recovering from the birth. He had the affair with the porn star, paid her hush money in the wake of the election. He gets a mulligan for that, says Tony fucking Perkins. A Democrat will get into office, and a Democrat will have had an erection once in his life that wasn't pointed directly at his wife, and Tony Perkins will call for him to be impeached, thrown out of the example he's setting for the country, for the children. Oh my God, the moral crisis in our leadership. No. It's all going to revert to normal because this is not about any sort of consistency. Evangelical Christians and what they will put up with or permit or smile at or excuse or enable. Roy fucking Moore in Alabama. Did you follow that shit? Yeah, no, we will see no benefit from Donald fucking Trump having squatted his orange goddamn ass down in the Oval Office. There will be no long-term benefit. None, zilch, nada. Stop looking for silver linings. There aren't any.
Hi, Dan. I have a question about turning down a couple that will probably proposition for a four-way. Basically, I've met this person a long time ago, and I have a new partner, and we're about to get married, and this person and her partner are so much fun, and I want to hang out with them, but I have a feeling that from some of the stuff that's happened in the past where I was too naive to even think that way or anything like that. And she has mentioned that they have had dalliances with other couples or like with a third party or something. And we had such a lovely time out with just her. She's in my work circle. And some of the stuff she was saying, I was like, I don't think that's an outright like invitation. But then she said, oh, let's all get together, the four of us. And I was like, right. And then I thought, oh, what is the best and politest way to turn down a proposition to have a four-way? Because I just want to turn them down. We love being monogamous, and it just makes us really nervous about any of that because we're just vanilla. Maybe not with each other, but we are vanilla. There, I've said it. So I just don't want to offend them. I want to hang out with them, and I just want a way to turn them down. That's all.
It's only polite to wait until someone hits on you before you turn them down. A preemptive, just in case you were thinking about fucking me, that's not going to happen. There's no polite way to roll that out. That's kind of presumptuous. You're making a giant leap. Well, perhaps not a giant leap. It is possible that your friend who is in an open relationship and with her partner, she swings, they swing. She may have been tossing out some of her experiences to get a sense for how you might feel about it, to gauge your reaction because they are interested in you or hitting on you and your boyfriend. Or it could just be that she's one of those swinger blabbermouths, one of those open poly people who talk about it all the time, and they're out there too. And all the people they talk to about it, they don't want to fuck all those people. So you're making perhaps not a giant leap. If you knew them to be swingers and they had never once mentioned their adventures to you, this would be a giant leap to how do I tell them we don't want to fuck them when they haven't even told us that they're swingers officially and never hit on us? But they're going to hit on us because we are irresistible. How do we tell? That would be a giant leap, and you wouldn't need to say anything. Not as giant a leap from they're telling us about their sexual adventures and then they're asking if the four of us can hang out sometime. They might be preparing to pop the question. Not will you quad marry us, but would you guys want to mess around sometime? And then that's the polite time. That's the right time to turn them down. There is a way to head them off at the pass or head them off before the pass. She's mentioned to you that they are open, that they swing, that they have sex with other couples. Perfect time for you to mention that as you admire them. Wow, crazy sexual adventures. You're glad they have such a great sexual connection. I, too, have a great sexual connection with my partner. We have great sexual adventures. Ours are all monogamous. They're just with each other because we're both really monogamous types. And then you don't have to worry about them hitting on you. And then if they do hit on you, you shouldn't have to worry about them hitting on you. Maybe they would anyway. you can totally shut them down then. Don't you remember that conversation we had in the bar when you were telling me about the last 10 couples you guys had sex with, the last 2 couples you guys had sex with? When I mentioned that we're monogamous, I wasn't lying. We are monogamous, and we're going to stay that way. Women, putting on good underwear in the morning is a key part of owning your day. Good underwear helps you feel confident, powerful, sexy, and ready to conquer the world, as you should. MeUndies will be the most comfortable pair of underwear you will own, made from a sustainably sourced, naturally soft fabric that is 3 times softer than cotton. They are super breathable, too. MeUndies has tons of different colors and styles to fit whatever your preference is. Boy short, bikini, thong, they've got something for everyone. So many cute colors and styles to choose from, solids, patterns, bright colors, lace, one for every mood, every occasion. Once you feel MeUndies for yourself, you will love them. They are so comfortable and touchable. They will set the tone for your day to be a boss. They are that amazing. They also come with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. They guarantee you will love your undies or your money back. And right now, MeUndies has an exclusive offer just for my listeners. Get 20% off your first pair and free shipping. And MeUndies is so sure you'll love their underwear, they even offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. You order a pair, and if you don't love your first pair, you get a full refund. This is a no-brainer to try. 20% off, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee. What are you waiting for? To get your 20% off, free shipping, and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and to get the best and softest and most comfortable underwear you will ever own, go to MeUndies.com/savage. That's MeUndies.com/savage. This is a limited time offer, so what are you waiting for? Start wearing the best underwear of your life. I have it on good authority that Nancy is wearing a pair right now, and it's time for you to get your MeUndies. Go to MeUndies.com/savage right now.
Hey, Dan, question for you. This happened a few weeks ago. I was out with my 2 young daughters at a store at a mall, and the store sells dolls, possibly American dolls. And while we were shopping using some Christmas gift cards, there was a man in there dressed like an actual baby doll. He was maybe in his 50s. He had a friend with him. He had a full beard, but was dressed in a white satin dress, complete with tights and patent leather shoes, holding a purse, wearing a Shirley Temple wig, and huge bow in his fake hair. I really did not know how to explain this to my child, and I was very curious what your thoughts were about whether or not this was appropriate behavior. Half of me says, go on, let your freak flag fly, whatever you want to do, and half of me says, this is a children's space and not really a place that you belong. Can you let me know your thoughts? I really don't know how to think about it. I don't really know why I care either, but I do.
Your question reminds me of this little controversy in San Francisco a few years ago where there were some puppies, human puppies, people who engage in pup play in the park. And sometimes pup play has totally sexual dimension, and sometimes people do pup play as foreplay or during sex. And some people like to be in pup space and they like to be puppies even when they're not being sexualized or having sex in that particular moment. They're just romping around being puppies. But people looked at them and said, oh, there are those sex puppies, those gay guys who put on puppy dog masks and romp around because it turns them on and they're in the park. And some people got upset because wasn't that kind of public sex play? And weren't they involving passersby in their sex play? And yeah, maybe, I guess. They weren't visibly aroused. They weren't fucking. They weren't naked. They weren't hard. They were just, how do you explain this to the kids? That was the question then too. What do you tell the children? They're just adults being goofy. Those just silly guys. They like to play. They're playing dress up. Kids understand playing dress up. Kids will understand after they hit puberty that some people play dress up as adults because it's sexy fun and not just fun. But at 5, 6, 7, 8, you tell a kid, that's just an adult in a costume having some fun, being goofy. And that's going to be enough for a kid because kids understand dressing up in costumes, pretending to be someone that you're not, to be goofy. They understand play. We as adults, we look at that guy in the baby doll outfit in the toy store and we think, yeah, that's probably someone who enjoys that because it turns him on too. Doesn't mean it's sexualized in that moment in the store. He wasn't running through the store dressed as a baby doll, touching himself, masturbating, exposing himself. He wasn't visibly aroused. So all you had to tell your kids was, yeah, that's just an adult in a costume being silly. And that is enough for your kids. And trust me, Mom, the chance encounter with the adult dressed up as the baby doll in a store, the chance seeing of a couple of gay dudes dressed up as puppies romping around in the park is nothing compared to all of the adult craziness your kids are going to see online. That is going to seem positively innocent in comparison to what your kids are going to witness when you give them their first phones. You can make this Valentine's Day one you'll never forget with this amazing offer from adamandeve.com. Through Valentine's Day, you'll receive 50% off just about any item. Just go to adamandeve.com and you'll find thousands of adult entertainment products, including toys, lingerie, and a seemingly endless selection of adult DVDs. And there's more. They'll also throw in free shipping on your entire order. So check out adamandeve.com today for this special Valentine's offer. Get 50% off one item and free shipping when you enter code SAVAGE at checkout. SAVAGE, that's SAVAGE at adamandeve.com.
Hey, Dan. My name is James, coming at you from Mobile, Alabama. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Hey, I wanted to talk about kind of monogamy and relationships, and mainly I've just had kind of a problem with that in the past. I've never cheated on anyone, but when I find myself in sort of monogamous relationships, even with very attractive women, I always kind of basically just get bored, and I want to have sex with more people, more or less. And so the ridiculous thing is when I find myself not in those relationships anymore, I'll end up hooking up with women who are much less attractive than the girls that I was with, and I don't even like them. But there's apparently something appealing to me about either the newness or the conquest or whatever the hell it is. And it just seems ridiculous that I'm leaving these relationships, or I'm getting bored with these relationships, and the grass sure as hell ain't greener on the other side, and yet I keep doing it. So I guess the question would be how to maybe make monogamy more sustainable or attractive, or get over wanting to do something else, because that just doesn't seem to work.
Here's what you know about yourself. Monogamy doesn't work for you. Doesn't work for you. It's not the right choice for you. You're in a committed relationship, and your eye wanders, and then your thighs join your eyes wherever they've wandered off to, and then you're fucking somebody else who isn't your partner and maybe less attractive than your partner. But it's obviously not just about attractiveness thresholds for you. It's about numbers, and it's about variety. Now you know yourself. You've made monogamous commitments that you couldn't keep. You made monogamous commitments that you violated. There isn't a magic incantation that I can mutter on my show that's going to make you into someone for whom monogamy comes easily or naturally. Instead of making future commitments, future monogamous commitments that you are going to violate, make a non-monogamous commitment that you can uphold, that you can honor. Monogamy isn't working for you. And you know what? You don't work for monogamy either, in the sense that you're not going to be able to be monogamous, most likely going forward. And in the sense that monogamy ain't your boss. You can fire monogamy. We talk about monogamy as if humans fail at it. And the reality is that monogamy fails for many humans. Not the right choice for you. Know thyself, as so many smart people have said in other venues. Know thyself. And now you know yourself to be incapable of honoring or keeping a monogamous commitment. You are a dude, sexy sounding dude, I have to say, who's going to want to sleep with a lot of different women over the course of his life. You can have that and a committed relationship too, with someone who also is free to seek out new sex partners and new sexual experiences. Or you can have a commitment to someone where you're allowed to do what you want to do on the side and they are monogamous to you, not imposed, not a double standard. You have to find someone who that's the kind of relationship that they want. Those would be called cuck queens. They are the female equivalent of cuckolds. They're a lot harder to find than a woman who is willing and wants to commit to a sexy dude and have a relationship, a stable, loving, intimate, long-term relationship with someone that isn't sexually exclusive on either part. That's what'll work for you. That's what you should be working toward. Do you ever feel like you pay a lot for crappy quality? At Everlane, that doesn't happen. Upgrade your go-tos and your style and make Everlane's classics your new favorites. Everlane only makes premium essentials using the finest materials without traditional markups, and they tell you their real costs, so you know you're never overpaying. Everlane wants you to know what you're paying for and why. They're radically transparent about every step in their process, from the materials they use to the ethical factories they work with. Because Everlane sells directly to you, their prices are 30 to 50% lower than traditional retailers. Everlane's clothes look better, cost less, and last longer. Essentials like their Cotton Crew t-shirt are exactly what they should be: simple, stylish, and made from quality materials. My husband looks amazing in the Cashmere Crew, and when Nancy comes clopping in wearing her boss boot, well, look out. Everlane's timeless essentials are just what you're looking for. No frills, just quality. And right now, you'll get free shipping on your first order when you go to everlane.com/savage. That's everlane.com/savage. Everlane.com/savage.
Hi, Dan. A 23-year-old, bi-curious, gender fluid, male presenting. My fiance and I have been open since about 6 or 7 months into our relationship. We've been dating for about 2 years and we got engaged and hoping to get married soon. It's just we're traveling actors, so it's been tough to do that. But point is, we've been open since about 6, 7 months into our relationship, and I've been the only one who's really acted on it. She hasn't really harbored any feelings of jealousy for that or anything, but she's basically just told me that she just feels really uncomfortable hooking up with people on Tinder or, any of the dating apps or Bumble or anything. And she's just, as a small woman, very nervous about wanting to hook up with people without knowing them. But one of the big things we agreed on, and was one of her basic rules too, was like, we're open, but we're not poly. We're interested in a monogamous romantic relationship, but just at the same time being open to sexual experience since we are so young. She's 21 and I'm 23. I want her to be able to explore her sexuality because she's bi-curious as well, and I want her to be able to feel comfortable. I've offered many solutions like being in the same room, being in the apartment when she goes down, or being down the road, like anything, so she can text me or something. And she just hasn't really taken me up on anything, and I'm worried that she's just too shy and kind of timid to make this happen if I don't push her or try to help her or make her feel comfortable, because that's often what we did. She's also Catholic and has a lot of guilt and a lot of things kind of feeling about just in general finding her sexuality at this point and the status of our relationship. But she claims that she's very happy in our relationship and she likes the idea of it being open and the opportunities it allows us. So I guess my big question is, what can I do to make her feel more comfortable with hooking up with people? Because the big thing was we didn't want to be poly. We just wanted to hook up with people and have there be no dates and no anything like that.
If I can sort of boil your call down and summarize it, what it sounds like you're saying is, how can I get my girlfriend to feel comfortable having sex in a way that makes her feel uncomfortable?
Interesting.
Because what you're saying is, like, I have hookups without any personal connection. I have hookups that are, with people. I don't go on dates. I don't get to know them. They don't present an emotional risk or romantic risks. They are potential future competitors for my affections because they're sort of walled off in this way. I don't have relationships with these people. I just have sex with them. That's how you do it, right?
Yes.
And it sounds like the rules you've laid down for her are she has to do it the exact same way you do it.
Yeah, I think that's something we've talked about. And ironically, that's the way she said she was more comfortable with it. Whereas I was the one saying, like, I would be comfortable if you wanted to, go on a date and get to know somebody, as I would be comfortable doing similar things in that realm. And she said, no, I would like it better this way. But it seems like she is more conflicted about that.
Oh, okay. So it's a little more complicated than my summation makes it sound like. Because it sounded like she was saying, for me to feel comfortable having sex with somebody, I have to know them and trust them. I'm a petite person and I don't want to be the victim of sexual violence. And that's a real concern. A lot of guys in open relationships, straight guys or guys in opposite sex open relationship, I'm not saying you're a straight guy, will say, no, you can't know them. It has to be anonymous, because guys can get anonymous sex without feeling threatened, but women have to factor in the very real risk for sexual violence at the hands of some strange man that they've never met, that they're just hooking up with on Tinder or whatever for sex. women have to do more vetting of potential partners to protect themselves. So it's unfair when people who are in opposite sex, and recognizing your genderqueer identity and its validity, but I'm just using this formulation here, the people who are in opposite sex relationships, the rules can't necessarily be identical. There's a flip side to this, because it's often very easy for women in an open relationship to find guys who are willing to fuck her, and harder for a guy in an open relationship to find women who are willing to fuck him. Because dick is easy to get, and pussy, because I think often factored into who's giving out pussy has to be the risk for violence and how do I protect myself. That has to come into play here. But it sounds like she may have imposed the no emotional component, no dating on you for fear of losing you. And then she's hewing to the same rules herself, which are preventing her from having sex with anyone else. Is that a more accurate read?
That feels like exactly what it is, yeah.
All right. Well, we have to start all over. We have to start this conversation all over again, because you don't want to push your girlfriend to have sex that she doesn't want to have. If the only reason if she really would like to have sex with somebody else, but the only reason she isn't or can't is because she doesn't want you to date or go on a date or hang out with someone or spend time with someone and potentially fall for them. So she's going to hew to those same limitations to prevent you from running off with somebody else, but then it prevents her from being intimate with anyone else because she doesn't feel comfortable. You can have two sets of rules that are shaped differently, that take into account your different realities and the realities of your bodies and how they're moving through the world and how they're treated by others. Sometimes when people want to make the rules for an open relationship, they're like, they got to be exactly the same for both people. Otherwise it's not fair. And that's not the right standard. The right standard is what works, what makes us both feel fulfilled and comfortable. And that sometimes that involves taking our own insecurities into account. Sometimes that involves taking our partner's insecurities into account. If one person doesn't care if their partner goes on a date, but the other partner isn't comfortable with that, they can have different rules. They can have all right, you can go on a date and hang out with that person if that's what it takes to get in that person's pants, and I'm not going to tell you no, but I know that I'm not allowed to do that because that just sandpapers an irrational fear of yours that we both recognize as irrational, but it's there and we don't want a lot of drama, so I'm going to accommodate that. And my rules are going to be a little bit different. They're going to be tailored to make you feel emotionally and sexually safe, as your rules are tailored to make me feel emotionally and sexually safe.
Yes, that makes so much sense.
So you guys need two different sets of rules. The rules for you, the rules for her. And the rules should make what you want to have happen for you possible while making her feel safe and secure in the relationship, and vice versa. And they may not be identical, and that's okay.
Okay. I think that's the problem we have so much, is just because she so often gets worried and worked up about the fact that I've been more successful just in cutting off the sort of feeling part of it for me and just wanting to have sex, and and whereas she's very completely she's like, oh, I feel like I should be having sex. There's this pressure that I should be doing something, and I don't necessarily want to do it because I'm scared in this situation. And
she shouldn't. She shouldn't do anything that she doesn't want to do. She shouldn't have sex with people just to keep up with you.
Yeah.
It should be about what makes her content and comfortable. I know a lot of people, I'm in an open relationship, marriage myself. I know a lot of people in open relationships. Some couples, one person in that open relationship has a lot of sex with other people, and the other person rarely, if ever, has sex with other people, but they're both happy. Are you content? That's the question for her. Are you content with how things are? I've had 3 outside sexual experiences in the last year. You've had none. Are you happy? Do you feel like you're missing out? Is there something that we should be doing differently that makes the sexual adventure possible for you? And you offered, you're like, I'll be there, or I won't be there. I'll be in the other room. I'll be down the street, whatever you need to make you feel comfortable. I'll help. But if what she's telling you is she has no interest right now, she shouldn't push herself into having sex that she doesn't want to have just because you're having sex that you do want to have. That doesn't benefit anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
I know how you feel, though, because it can make somebody who's allowed to run off and have their adventures feel as if they're being unfair, feel self-conscious about what they get to do and what their partner isn't doing, as if there's some implicit guilt tripping going on. that is just in your head. If she's not guilt tripping you about it, don't feel guilty.
Yeah, she's admitted to me that like our libidos are a little out of whack, but we've been like very clear, like, and by I mean out of whack, I feel like I just have like a really heightened libido, like compared to hers, which is.
You do now. If you say you're 23 and you've been together for a couple of years, if you guys marry, and please have a nice long engagement, but if you guys marry and you're together 20 years, 25 years, there may come a time, when she's in her 30s where her libido is roaring and yours is a little more settled down. So the off-leash time you got in your early 20s, she may demand that same kind of off-leash time from you in her 30s, if you guys go the distance.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's an ebb and flow in a relationship. And in an open relationship, the ebb and flow can move in and out independently. The tide can move in and out independently for both partners. And that's okay.
And the other thing is I think we struggle, just like, obviously I've listened to your show a lot, and I really appreciate the way you talk about, like, you're never going to be enough, and accept that. And that's like a beautiful thing, because you give somebody, the enough by like saying, I'm okay with this. I'm comfortable with our relationship because I know I'm not everything that you need and you're not everything I need. And I think we still struggle with that early on in our relationship now, because it's just such a ingrained like societal thing of like monogamy and this bullshit that's like, you've got to be enough for the one person and all this shit. And she was from like a Catholic upbringing and like went to a bunch of Catholic schools, and like I came from a really different background, but at the same time, like I always had that same feeling of like, oh, there's just one person, and it's just like, now that we've opened ourselves to this and feel like it's right for us, it's just hard to still get those insecurities out.
It sounds like you're closer now to being enough for each other, because you've recognized that you can't be all things to each other. Because being with you means that she can get what she needs elsewhere if and when she needs to get it, which brings you closer to being everything that she needs, paradoxically. You're with somebody who isn't trying to be everything, but isn't preventing you from reaching out when you need to get, and I'm not just talking about sex here. A lot of people have it in their heads that if they're married in a long-term relationship, that person's supposed to be your best friend and your confidant and the person you tell everything and you confide in. And sometimes you need to confide in someone else. Sometimes you need emotional support or input or just camaraderie and company from somebody who's not your partner, not your spouse. And if you have a spouse who isn't threatened by that, whether it's an emotional connection, a friendship, a best friendship with somebody else, or a sexual friendship or connection or need that you get met elsewhere, if they're not threatened by that, I often say you aren't enough. You aren't enough. But you know what? You're closer to being everything that person needs by not pretending you are, paradoxically, everything that person needs. You can't provide everything that person needs to them. But if you are preventing them from getting the needs that you can't met elsewhere, my head's exploding. Then you might be enough with all of that additional support and input from outside.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Did it to you? Because I kind of confused myself. I kind of got lost myself. I'm glad it made sense to you. Maybe it made sense to others. Good luck and congratulations in advance on your wedding, which I hope will take place 2 presidential administrations from now.
Yeah.
Nice long engagements. When you get engaged in your early 20s, a nice long engagement is best.
Yeah, we're waiting a couple of years. Yeah. Thank you.
5 years.
5 years. Okay.
5 years, not a couple. 5. Promise me 5.
Okay.
I will. If you guys get married when you are 28, I will come to your wedding.
Okay, I'll hold you to that.
Okay, good luck.
Hi, Dan. I'm 29 years old. My mom's boyfriend, I get kind of this weird vibe from him, and he does weird things like he'll just PayPal me money randomly. And, I'm not struggling or anything. At first I was like, well, okay, maybe he's just nice and he's trying to get on my mom's good side. But then, he'll just, start texting me out of nowhere. And he said that he's getting he's renting out this house for the summer, and him and his kids come visit sometimes, and it's in Florida where I live. And he says, well, maybe, you could come over and, come for a swim if you want to. And I don't know. It just seems weird to invite me over for a swim without my mom. Just weird stuff like that all the time. I feel like he tries to get me by myself sometimes, and I really hate to misunderstand what this is, but it just feels weird. I feel like he buys things and sends me money all the time, hoping that I'll accept one of these invitations. And I'm just not sure how to handle it, or if maybe I'm reading it all wrong and he's just a nice guy and I'm being paranoid. I'm not sure what to do, and it's making me feel really awkward.
Trust your gut in this instance. We should trust our guts generally, but we do sometimes need to interrogate our guts. The problem here is he's doing ostensibly nice things that have this overtone that if you called him on, like, hey, dude, you're hitting on me, he would have plausible deniability. I was just being nice to my girlfriend's daughter. I was treating you like I treat my own kids, who I lavish with presents and invite to the house with the pool to go for a swim. There's this creepy thread running through it of this reach for intimacy in your relationship that's inappropriate to your relationship. You are the adult child of his girlfriend. He shouldn't be treating you like one of his kids because you're not one of his kids. You're not a child. And to treat an adult like this, yeah, you can plausibly deny that you were hitting on someone if you were doing this, even if that was your intent. You were ingratiating yourself. You're trying to create a bond of intimacy independent and separate from the bank shot bond that he should have with you and the respect he should have with you and the relationship he should have with you. Bank shot through your mother. He's establishing this independent relationship with you. And that could be innocent and dense on his part. He could just have low emotional IQ and be clueless, and he would be appalled, and it could be really problematic and create a lot of drama if you called him out on it explicitly. Or he could be trying to weasel his way into your pants, and trust your gut. My money is on the latter. And maybe not weasel his way into your pants in the end, but wants to see you in a wet swimsuit without your mom around. Even if he doesn't make the pass, maybe he's just going to enjoy the view and have a wank about it. Yeah, it all makes me uncomfortable too, and I'm not the woman being invited over to the house or accepting the presents. Establish boundaries with this guy. Clear boundaries. Don't respond to his texts that you don't want to respond to. Don't respond to the texts that seem overly familiar or out of the blue or inappropriately pointless. Deflect the invitations and say to him when he buys you these gifts, hey, I'm not comfortable accepting these presents. I'm not comfortable accepting cash handouts from my mother's boyfriend. I'm not hurting. I don't need the money. Send that money to your own kids or donate it to a charity. And if you really feel like spending that much money on me, save it up for Christmas, save it up for a birthday, get me something with my mom. That will feel appropriate, but this just makes me feel uncomfortable. And to say this makes me feel uncomfortable isn't to say that he intended to make you feel uncomfortable. And if he leaps to, hey, you're accusing me, say, I'm not accusing you. And if he leaps to, hey, you're accusing me, that's a good sign that he was intending to make you uncomfortable or intending to ingratiate himself to you in a way that was inappropriate and perhaps get into your pants. But if you say, this is making me uncomfortable, and he says, it wasn't my intent, you just say, I didn't say that was your intent. But that's how I'm receiving it. That's how it feels. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Whatever your motivations are, whatever your intentions are, I am telling you, makes me feel uncomfortable. So knock it the fuck off is implied strongly. And he should knock it the fuck off. And if he doesn't knock it the fuck off, you're going to need to have a very uncomfortable conversation with your mother about her boyfriend.
Hey, Dan. I'm a gay man. I live in New York City. I'm in my mid-30s. I have a question for you about someone I met recently. I met this beautiful man. We have this incredible, beautiful connection, perhaps one of the most intimate, giving, loving, and rewarding connections I've had in a very long time. We've been hanging out for a couple of months. It's really great. And I can say he is definitely, without doubt, treats me in a way I don't think I've really ever been treated by someone. When we first met, he was staying with friends, and he told me the reason he was staying with friends is because he was Airbnb-ing his house. But over time, I've come to realize that he is actually homeless and lost his apartment due to finances, and he's staying around the city with different people. I've also learned that he has a substance use thing going on with crystal meth that he's open and honest with me about, but I think he does it more than he wants to and does it more than he admits to me. It's getting difficult for me because I'm developing feelings for him and I don't know the stability or how much I should care about this person. But I also know that our connection is so true and genuine, and he cares about me so much. I don't want to dismiss him and look over this possibility for this situation that's possibly temporary. But what I do know is that he isn't necessarily telling me the truth about where he stays and who he's with. And there's a couple of times I've caught him in a lie. I need to know, and I need advice in regards to how to approach the situation compassionately and respectfully, and how to possibly continue this connection with someone that's so beautiful and amazing, but yet his life just is in such chaos and involves, perhaps he doesn't have the ability to be in the relationship he wants to have with me.
Someone who's using meth and regularly lying to the person that he's dating is not in good working order. Someone who's using meth, even if they tell the truth and nothing but the truth, is not in good working order. I don't think people have to be perfect. None of us are perfect, but we owe it to the people that we date when we begin to date them or present ourselves to the world as dateable to be in good working order. And your friend, this guy that you've been seeing, just isn't. You should end the romantic relationship. You should tell him that you can't continue to see him or fuck him or date him. You should also offer to help him if he needs help finding whatever resources are available in your community to get him off fucking crystal meth. You don't want to get mixed up with an addict who right now in the honeymoon stage and infatuation stage of your relationship is definitely going to be on his best behavior, particularly if he needs a place to stay or a place to live, and then allow him to move in with you or mix your lives up together to such a point that extracting yourself from the relationship is going to be impossible. So, end it. But don't cut him off from contact unless things get really toxic. Don't cut him off from contact. Sometimes people need to be cut off from contact because that's part of hitting rock bottom. It's part of what opens people's eyes to the problem they have and the severity of it. And sometimes cutting people off is the inspiration, the impetus that they needed to go get the fucking help that the drugs have convinced them that they don't need yet. But right now, it doesn't sound like you need to cut this guy off. You do need to say, until you're off crystal, until I can trust the things that come out of your mouth, and right now I can't, because I've caught you in several lies, I can't date you. So there can't be a romantic connection here. But how can I help you? Maybe just listening is a way that I can help. Maybe there are resources out there in the community. Maybe you've met some of his other friends and it's intervention time. You can do a little legwork on his behalf. If he's homeless, if he's addicted to drugs, if he's in a really bad way, he might not be capable of doing the simple Google search and making the handful of phone calls that could unlock resources and help for him that he needs. You could do that, and you could lay that before him and then see what he does. If you lay that help before him and he does nothing, he continues on doing what he's doing now. What he's telling you is he prefers meth to you because you're giving him a choice. Get the help you need, and then maybe we can keep seeing each other down the road. Doesn't get the help he needs, that means he doesn't give a shit whether he ever sees you again. He's picking drugs over you at that moment. And I'm sorry, somebody who picks meth over a decent, loving, compassionate, kind sounding person like you is no one that a decent, compassionate, kind, loving sounding person like you should be wasting your time on. It's sad. The addict, the liar, is bundled up with his good qualities. People aren't all evil or all bad. And sometimes we invest so much hope in the good we can see in a person that we put up with shit that we shouldn't put up with. And our putting up with it enables, to grab that word off the shelf, enables them to keep doing the shitty things that they're doing. And they give us just enough good so that we continue to take care of them or help them out or be there for them. And it doesn't help them. It just enables them to continue down the very destructive path that they're on. That's when you have to really zoom out and assess what you're doing and make a judgment call about whether exiting this person's life is really the kindest and most loving thing you can do for this person. Again, I don't think you're at that stage yet, but you might be soon.
Hi, Dan. This is a response to the most recent podcast with a woman whose husband has been smoking. Suggestion is the Nicorette patch or nicotine patch. The guy I've been seeing has been wearing them for 7 years, and that's the thing that stopped him from smoking. He still gets the same Nicorette or nicotine rush without any of those bad side effects.
Hi guys, I'm calling about episode 589 in regards to the young lady who wanted to have her first sex party. You gave great advice. The only thing is that you mentioned talking, and talking is great, but they're kind of young. And I think something that they can do is have different colored ribbons that the people can use to say what they can, what they're into, and what they aren't into. If they want to get a little bit classier, you know, maybe different colored carnations or something, or even different colored silk scarves, which could be used later, you know. But yeah, just something that can identify for everybody what you are into and what you aren't into.
Hi, this is a comment for the woman on the last episode who comes too quick from anal and needs her husband to pull out or it becomes painful. I actually have the same problem, and just keep a vibrator nearby. And right after you come, you know, you just take that minute, like Jan said, put the vibrator in, and everything works, and then you get to enjoy another orgasm from anal. So works for us. Maybe give it a try.
And we're going to leave it there. 206-302-2064 is the number here at the Savage Lovecast. If you'd like to record a question or a comment for a future show, give us a buzz. 206-302-2064. You can also make an MP3 of your question on your computer and email it to us at voicemail@savagelovecast.com. If you like my political rants at the top of the show, you will love me on Blabbermouth with Rich Smith and Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Eli Sanders, where we review the news of the week. Go look for Blabbermouth wherever you get your podcasts. Follow me on Twitter at FakeDanSavage. Follow Justin Lehmiller on Twitter at Justin Lehmiller. And follow Adam Rippon on Twitter at ADARIPP. Savage Lovecast is produced every week by Nancy Hartunian and me and the tech-savvy at-risk youth. And Nancy will all be back at you next week with an installment of Savage Lovecast. Thanks for downloading.